We wanted to take a moment here on this panel to talk to you about things that we've been working on over the last several years to make public-private partnerships better and to make it a better economic climate for development in the state and remove as many barriers as we can. So with that, I think I'll start with Mike.
Sure.
Would you introduce yourself and then talk about what we've done in P3 arena?
Sure. Okay. I'm Mike Jackson. I'm the Executive Vice President of the State Chamber of Oklahoma. I've been with the State Chamber now for 6 years. In a prior life, I was in the legislature. I enjoyed my time there, but was ready to move on. Now I run our government and political operation for the Chamber. So in 2017, and actually in 2016 as well, one of the things that we identified as an issue for Oklahoma was setting up a framework for public-private partnerships. So, and I've got the author of the bill that's actually sitting with me. Senator Leewright was the author in the Senate. He ran the legislation to actually set up a P3 outline to allow for that investment to occur. And that is actually set up through the OMES, Oklahoma Management, the Oklahoma Management Enterprise, right? I don't know what it actually stands for, but OMES. And so far, it's been a slow go in terms of getting it up to speed, but we worked with AI, which was one of the groups that spoke with you today, and they actually identified it in 2017 as the model legislation for the United States. So we are very hopeful that with the group that's here today, that we can actually spur some additional investment, and we can start to get people starting to talk about public-private partnerships as the federal government, as the state of Oklahoma continues to try to grow.
Representative West, would you introduce yourself?
My name is Josh West. I represent District 5, which is pretty much all the Grand Lake area, and it's exciting to see everybody here. You know, there's a big push right now in the state with there's an excitement in the air with tourism, and I see it every day. I mean, in my part of the country, you know, we don't have oil, we don't have gas, but we have Grand Lake, and so tourism is really my main staple of you know, for about 9 months out of the year. That's where our money comes from taxes generated, sales taxes generated. And so there was a report, an article that was released, Tulsa World put out a couple weeks ago, and it talked about outside of Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Ottawa County, and Delaware County, they generated by 2017 about $519 million of direct money from tourism. And so that's huge. And so, you know, Lieutenant Governor Pinnell's doing a great job right now as heading this thing off along with Jerry. And, you know, they've got some great ideas. It's been good working with them. It's a lot more transparent than we have in the past. And on the House side, you know, we did not have a standing committee for a long time. And so had the opportunity to bring back the tourism committee as a standalone committee. And I got with Lieutenant Governor Pinnell and Jerry, and I said, hey, you guys have a committee at your beck and call. And so let's run with it. And so I think this year you're going to see some good things come out of the committee. And I'm excited. I mean, like I said, tourism is my bread and butter. There's a lot of people here from all over the state, but I see Jordy folks here. I've got Grove people here. I think Miami people, Jay people. And so it's good to see everybody here. And I hope we continue this, you know, this excitement for tourism.
Sounds good. Representative West, will you tell us about a piece of legislation that's really helped the industry?
Well, from my standpoint, you know, a lot of the stuff that we've had to do in the last year was from unforeseen consequences from state question. You know, we did the alcohol modernization stuff on the ballot, and simple things which, you know, you wouldn't think would be a big deal, but like with the state question when it passed, we could not serve alcohol on the Cherokee Queen. We've got the only riverboat, I believe, in the state on Grand Lake, the Cherokee Queen. We couldn't serve alcohol. Now, the way it was set up, you could, I could bring my own beer. You know, I could bring a bucket of beer in there, but they couldn't serve alcohol. And so they ran into all kinds of liability issues with that. And so we had to go back and fix little things like that. Also, the golf courses and marinas. They couldn't have dual licenses. If you had a the golf course and it had a restaurant attached to it. You couldn't serve alcohol in your restaurant and have a golf course that had a pro shop and go buy a six-pack of beer, whatever you wanted for the golf course. Same thing with the marina. And so those were little things, little tweaks, but we were able to go back and fix that. I think, Senator Bergstrom, Representative McIntyre, they had a lot of that stuff off. You and who ran the other legislation with you? Kyle Hilbert. They ran some legislation, 728, Senate Bill 728, and so those were little things that, like I said, that came from unforeseen circumstances from a state question. There always is with the state question.
Which I'll tell you, of all the pieces of legislation I've ran, I think I may be the proudest of Senate Bill 728, golf course and marinas, and getting alcohol back on the golf courses. Mike Jackson,
Yes.
I was involved with Chairman Wallace on the salt deduction legislation that kind of came through y'all. Will you tell us a little bit about that?
So what the senator is actually referring to is what we called state and local taxes. In 2017, the tax cuts that were championed through the federal government, one of the items that they actually did during that time frame was they took away your deductions. So one of the ideas that I actually had before legislative session last year was something that Connecticut and Wisconsin had actually adopted. It basically allows for small business. So let's say that you're an LLC, an S Corp, or something along those lines. It allows for you to opt into the program, and so far we have quite a bit of people who've actually opted. So many businesses, somewhere around 2,500, that have opted into the program. But it allows for you to pay, it allows for the entity itself to pay the taxes. By doing that, you're able to basically fully claim that SALT deduction, your state and local taxes that you currently pay. For an example, and this is the easy way to explain it, if you are an LLC that has about $1 million worth of income, it will save you about $32,000 in federal taxes. At the same time, it doesn't affect the state budget by one dime. And I would actually make the an additional statement. It actually means more money to the state of Oklahoma quicker, just a little bit, but at the same time, your overall tax burden went down by about $32,000 if you have $1 million worth of revenue.
Thank you for that. Representative West, can you tell us a little bit what we did with the closing fund, the governor's closing fund?
Yes, most people have no idea what a governor's quick action closing fund, and I wish that Representative Fettgetter was here. He's been a champion for this, and the almost 4 years that I've been in, and he was gone today. I don't know if you know, his father-in-law was Senator Ballinger, passed away last week, and so they've been had the funeral and things like that. But and it obviously helps when the economy is doing well. We've had a great 2 years with the economy, and we hope that it keeps going up. But a governor's closing fund is pretty much discretionary funds that the governor has when he has the ability to recruit businesses. And when we're competing against Texas, which has about $400 million in their closing fund, their governor's closing fund, and just you look by the county, Dallas County's got about $50 million, and so we've been able to put about $13 million, which is chump change compared to most states, but put $9 million last year, I think $4 million the year before, and the governor can use that to entice businesses and help with infrastructure, and that's on top of whatever local incentives that a county or a town might be able to offer businesses. But it's very important, and I know Governor Stitt was glad to. I don't know how much he spent of it, but it helps. I mean, and it always helps when we feel like we can offer some more, and when we're competing with the other states. I mean, even Arkansas, I think last year they put $29 million in there, and they're Arkansas. And so it's an important tool for the governor, and hopefully we're able to keep funding that.
Thank you for that. And we could go on and on with some of the legislation we've done to try to help business and in this arena and others. But I think with the three of us, what we wanted you to know is that we need to hear from you. If there's something that you're finding it's a barrier to an entry you're trying to make, or if there's something that we can help with a credit or so forth, reach out to the state chamber with Mike Jackson or one of your legislators, or me and the Senate and Josh West in the House. we want to hear from you, and we want you to know, as investors and wanting to do economic development in the state, that we want to do all we can to help you to be successful. I'm going to start adopting Tom Kimball. Deal is, what was that? It's give us a couple minutes for the
Difficult stuff we do immediately. The impossible can take up to 48 hours.
I love that. Difficult stuff we can do immediately. The impossible stuff takes up to 48 hours. And that's how we want to be at the state. So with that, Craig, I'll turn it back over to you.